I was working in my lab late one night when I decided to look up the lyrics to this song.
All the lyrics that I'd heard were completely inaccurate. It was a mash. It was the Monster Mash. The Monster Mash. It was a late night bash.
It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, a beautiful day for a neighbor. Would you be mine? Could you be mine? I've always wanted to have a neighbor just like you. I've always wanted to live in a neighborhood with you.
Well, it's another beautiful day in Mr. Rogers' neighborhood. I mean, it's another spooky day in Mr. Rogers' neighborhood.
It's not that spooky Mr. Rogers' neighborhood this week, is it?
No, it was a little premature to call this,
Look, it's not my fault. It was October. I don't know. Hopefully, maybe we'll get some spooking in a couple more weeks, closer to Halloween.
maybe.
Maybe. It's usually such a spooky show.
We're on episode 1481.
Or Columbus is almost going to sail the ocean blue.
Yeah,
Just,
practically. Mr. Rogers
decade.
comes into his house holding 3 stakes for vampires. Ooh.
Yeah, why did we, what did you think the stakes were?
I wrote down stakes equal vamps.
Oh, so you really did think vampires. I mean, not think, but...
I really did write it down.
Yeah.
And then he showed like the little connector piece, and I thought a table.
I was thinking maybe, well, at first I was thinking maybe,
Horseshoes?
like you throw it through a spinning hoop. Like you roll a hoop and throw the stick through it.
You think that maybe Mr. Rogers is that old?
Now that I think about it, the game where you roll a hoop and then throw the stick through it is a Klingon sport.
Oh.
Which Worf teaches to some Klingon POWs in one episode.
Now
so
I seem
probably
to recall,
not that.
Is it Magic School Bus?
Magic School Bus also had an episode
where they were trying to figure out. It was like about
archaeology.
Yeah, or what's the anthropology? I think it was about anthropology, and they were trying to figure out what people did with these 2 artifacts.
Yeah,
and they determined that it was a stick and hoop. I think they had to throw the stick through the hoop. Was the answer.
Also, so maybe that Klingon sport also existed on Earth.
Maybe.
And we have united Mr. Rogers with our dual loves of Star Trek and Magic School Bus. Yeah.
Follow me on Twitter at Stephen J. Plant for more Magic School Bus tweets than you probably care for.
And follow me on Twitter at Andrew J. Plant for more Star Trek tweets than you probably care to encounter.
But you're here for Mr. Rogers.
But we're here for Mr. Rogers. We're all here for Mr. Rogers.
And we're here for you.
Yeah, I also sort of wondered if maybe they were like croquet posts, but there were 3 of them and that didn't make sense.
I was pretty close with the table, I think.
Yeah, well, once he showed the holes in it, I'm like, okay, this is a chair. Because I'd seen that style of chair before.
And I'd seen that style of table before is the problem.
Oh.
I didn't have the same faith in these 3 stakes as you clearly did to sit on them. I was thinking a vase would be sufficient weight.
Mean, I thought it was going to tie them together with rope. So that goes to show how much faith I had in this 3-stake chair system. But yeah, the chair, because I think part of the reason we were, or at least I was thinking on the terms I was thinking, was because this episode is about a competition.
Right. That was a reference to my better Strong Bad impression from before the episode. Yeah.
Well, and also just the word competition, which will forever be associated with old Strong Bad. So as Mr. Rogers is explaining, this is going to be a chair, but they need a thing to go on top. Mr. McFeely
shows up with the
jumps
rest of
his
the chair.
cue and knocks on the door and shows up with the top that goes on it.
Yeah, it looks like a
triangle of leather.
Yes, with pockets in each corner.
Yeah, for the holes in the... if you've seen this guy...
The way Mr. Rogers talks about this, it's as if he invented it. Because he's like, yeah, I thought the sticks could kind of fit in these holes. As if he didn't just have 2 pieces of a chair and they were
I don't remember him saying that. I remember him saying like that looks like that'll fit. Because certainly the leather top was newer than the sticks.
Doesn't look like a comfortable seat to me.
It depends, I think, how you sit in it.
Maybe. He described it as like being on a horse. So you really got to straddle it.
Yeah,
or else
you've gotta, because you're sitting on a triangle.
Mm-hmm.
So that point's got to go somewhere.
Yeah.
I guess you could sit on it like triangle down.
Down?
So that your legs are between 2 points.
Oh,
but that
I
might
don't know
be,
about that.
That might be a bit narrow. You might need longer stakes and bigger leather.
Mr. McFeely, for the first time in forever, asks Mr. Rogers to sign for the package.
Certainly the first time in a long, long time.
I'm wondering if maybe there's new management, and so they're really cracking down on the old rules. Like,
maybe.
I know you know all these people, but we gotta play it by the book. And so after...
He got in a lot of trouble for giving away all those t-shirts for free.
Yeah. So he's like, I gotta get you to sign for this so that you can't claim that I didn't deliver it, Mr. Rogers.
Yeah.
My only friend.
Yeah. I mean, but Mr. McFeely's real problem is delivering things that nobody asked for.
Or they don't belong to you, or it's a living creature.
Yeah.
Or a person. Just really claiming anything that arrives at the same time as you is your own.
Is your delivery. Yeah. And do you get the feeling he's just prowling around looking for things going to places and showing up alongside them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of do. I mean, maybe...
I bet there's been an episode
maybe this startup after all these years is still not going well, and so he's still just trying to get his name out.
I bet there's been an episode where Mr. McFeely has special delivered something that was just on the front porch when he showed up. So Mr. Rogers uses his stool to draw a picture with crayons.
Well, he uses it to sit on in front of an easel that he produces from somewhere.
Well, aren't you a pedant?
Well, he doesn't use it to draw. That suggests that he has crayons on each end of the...
I mean, it suggests that if you don't know what stools are for.
He uses the stool while drawing a picture.
Mr. Rogers sits on the stool. He draws a picture of a house with red crayons, mostly.
Yeah, this is a scene that I have seen multiple times in inspirational Tumblr posts.
Oh, that's interesting.
People like to quote the, I'm not very good at it, but it's just fun to do it.
Oh, yeah.
And then
that's very Tumblr.
Later in the episode, there's another line about just by being you've already won because you're special and no one else can do exactly the same thing as you do exactly the same way.
Yeah. You know, you always miss 99% of the U's you don't be. Wayne Gretzky said that.
Wayne Gretzky was a real
lunatic. He said multiple things that didn't make sense.
Multiple personality dissociative disorder. He was always being as many hims as he could be at any one time. We know because we're Canadian.
Yeah, we know all about Wayne Gretzky.
Don't challenge us.
Good old Red Squeezer, as his friends called him.
Yes.
Yeah. Any comments on this? He puts the door right in the corner of the house.
Yeah, it's a very tall house.
It's narrow more. I mean, it's traditional, I feel, drawing of a house dimensions. But the big difference is that the door is right on the corner, so he saves having to draw that extra line.
I see.
Yeah.
He tests all the crayons out first, and as he's testing them, he says, "This one's yellow," as we remember him saying about his jacket in an earlier episode. He doesn't say what any of the other colors are, which we know he's bad with color. His eyes aren't good at seeing colors, but he can tell yellow when he sees it.
Well, and I think yellow is a tricky color for certain kinds of color blindness.
Oh, yeah?
Like if you're red-green colorblind, yellow looks a lot like green.
I mean, he says this one's yellow. He doesn't say what any of the other ones are.
No, that's why I feel like he's saying it because like this is one that he has to think about more. He uses a lot of red.
Yeah.
He does the tree in red and then only afterwards decides, let's use some green for the grass and some blue for the sky.
Yeah, he after he talks about not being very good at it, he's like, "Oh, maybe I should use some different colors."
Yeah.
And then he quickly scribbles some green on the ground on this otherwise entirely red.
And then gives back to red for the clouds and sun, maybe? Maybe just clouds. But, it's a serviceable drawing of a house. I wonder if he really is not good at drawing or if he is...
Simplifying it?
I
don't think he's very good.
I don't think he's no Mr. Dress-Up.
Right. I have those exact words on my notes.
I have Mr. Dress-Up, he ain't.
On mine says he's no Mr. Dress-Up.
Well, I'm cooler than you. So I say things in a cooler way. And now I know for a fact that what came before this, though, was the Crayon Factory.
Yeah, we get a picture-picture tour, factory tour of a crayon factory.
Mr. Rogers sits way too close to the picture-picture to watch it.
I didn't notice that.
His eyes are going to go square.
Because that happens.
That's what some guy told me when we were staying at his house while our parents had dinner with his parents.
We wanted to play Mario Brothers 2.
All we wanted to do was play the Nintendo.
Mario Brothers 2.
It's his fault for having a Nintendo. What did he think we wanted to do? I think we played some track and field also with the running pad.
Oh, I see. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
I thought you meant outdoors.
No. The Nintendo game, track and field.
And then he took us back to his bedroom where he demonstrated his yodeling.
I don't remember that part.
I remember it distinctly.
All right. He wore sweaters.
I don't remember that part.
It's just a thing.
Together we know all stuff.
Yeah, but this person whose name we've forgotten. Anyways.
Crayon
Factory.
Yeah.
A classic of Mr. Rogers' Factory. You talk about Mr. Rogers' picture-picture factories, people say, oh, the Crayon Factory.
On the Amazon collection, of which this is Volume 2, Episode 6,
yeah,
I believe. This is titled as Favorite Factory Tour Crayons.
Yeah. I feel like if you talk about factories, crayons are pretty quick on the top of the list of what people think of.
I mean, because it's colorful, right?
Even in this post-how-it's-made world.
Mm-hmm.
Another one I think of is toy cars, because Mr. Rogers also did that one, and I remember it somewhat vividly.
Got any good?
I got a few notes. The one thing that I noticed is, well, first of all, they pour the wax into 2 trays at once using a special split bucket.
Right, which I've called the dual slosher.
Yeah, I said double bucket coming too soon to Splatoon.
Yeah.
There really only needs to be one of us on this podcast. We all have all the same jokes.
It's true.
Even Mr. Rogers describes it as a double bucket.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing that I noticed is, I first noticed it when they're sort of patting them. I realized that somebody is doing Foley work for this factory tour.
Oh yeah, no,
with symbols.
It's pretty good. The throughout the whole montage, I assume there's no audio captured.
No, there's no audio in the factory. You clearly can't hear the factory.
But through the whole thing, there's like jazz piano, and then the percussion is themed around the visual mechanisms of the machines.
It's like those videos you see. Have you seen those videos where some drummer's like, I'm going to play drum accompaniment to some weird scene in a movie or TV show?
No, I haven't.
Oh, well, we'll throw one of those on the Tumblr.
Sure,
find one that isn't sweary. I feel like the first one I saw was It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and that's maybe not our ballywick. But yeah, in some places it's weird because I'm like, that's not the sound of hands pushing crayons against even a metal surface. And also the syncing was like off in some places, or like you'd sort of put just one in, and almost as an afterthought, a half second later, there'd be this little
Yeah, no, there was a good variety of percussion instruments used to describe the different parts of the crayon making process.
I feel like it was a good variety of symbols, but
they had like some chimes as well later,
okay.
And some, I don't know, whatever goes frdacket. It was like a clackety slap. Thinking there was some kind of a washboard.
Oh,
I didn't start paying attention to that until later.
No, I think I stopped paying attention to it later in, because then I was trying to figure out, is this a Crayola factory?
It is.
It is a Crayola factory.
Mm-hmm.
For a while, I thought, I wonder if they're doing an attempt to distract from the branding.
They didn't really, though.
They didn't really in the end. But they were doing, and this kind of surprised me, it's not just your standard, 12 crayons in a box.
No, this is one of those big sets.
Yeah, 64 crayons with a built-in pencil sharpener.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
One of the good ones.
Which at first I was wondering, this way they can just put them all in the blank cardboard boxes that go inside the bigger cardboard box.
Mm-hmm.
But no, it ends up being those. We had one of those, 64 colors.
Yep.
I think everybody at some point has.
Sure.
Maybe we're, getting classist up in here. But
we had 64 crayons and you didn't.
Yeah. We, the upper crust of middle
gross.
North
it sounds
America.
Gross when you say upper crust. That makes it sound crusty and gross.
I like the upper crust on like an apple pie or a lemon meringue pie. That upper crust is meringue.
Like we're off track.
We are. That's how crayons are made.
Yeah, or crayons, as Mr. Rogers says.
Cranes.
The second vowel is a schwa.
Schwa.
Crayons.
But now let's head back to Mr. Rogers' house.
This is the time when he draws the house.
This is the time when he draws the house. We'll either put it in here and edit so you don't know. No, we won't.
No.
That seems fair.
So after drawing a house, Mr. Rogers says that, listen, we only made this because we did it. If we just pretended to do this, we wouldn't have a picture sitting here.
Yeah, that was an interesting message.
He was like, listen, we do a lot of pretending.
Sometimes you gotta do stuff.
But let's pretend something. Because right then we decided to go to the land of make-believe.
I mean, the thing that he doesn't say is that those land of make-believe segments don't just happen because he pretends them.
Mm.
He pretends them and then they go to a soundstage and get some puppets up in there. So let's get some puppets up in there and head to the land of make-believe.
Okay. I've got a puppet or two. I've probably got 3 puppets in here.
Wow, that's more than 2 of us. So we're outnumbered.
We're outnumbered by puppets?
Yeah.
This is a spooky episode.
Whoa.
Here we are in the land of make-believe.
Here we are in the land of make-believe. Muppets aren't scary. They gotta be made of wood to be scary. Like they are in the land of make-believe. Probably a hard plastic.
I think it's a hard plastic.
Doesn't matter. King Friday is talking about doing a contest.
A drawing.
Mrs. Prolificate. Yeah, he sort of buries the lead on this one. We know because Mr. Rogers debriefed us going in. But as we come in...
Debriefed or briefed?
Briefed, I guess.
Debrief is afterwards.
Yeah. He explained to us what the king was going to be doing.
Mm-hmm.
But so it's sort of interesting because as the trolley comes by, King Friday and Miss Prolificate are talking.
Now, hold on now. Because I'm starting to wonder if we've been pronouncing this woman's name wrong.
Oh.
I thought I heard it in earlier episodes, and this time I heard Mr. Rogers say it. I rewound it. I'm pretty sure her name is pronounced Prolificate.
Prolificate?
With no R after the P.
Maybe that's American. Maybe it's a schwa. Is it a schwa?
Maybe. I don't know.
No.
I just don't want to think about it. I want to move on to the rest of the scene.
That's fair. But there's this weird line, like, you know how, okay, it's a trope in TV, right? Where in conversation, somebody will say, like, as you know, and, like, quickly catch up to speed everybody on the conversation that was happening before the camera showed up.
Uh-huh.
And so there's a line sort of like this, where King Friday says...
I've written it down also.
To Miss Prolific is like...
He says, don't you think that's a good idea, what we've been talking about?
Right. Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, okay, they're gonna... But they don't really. I wonder if King Friday is just insecure about his idea and wants approval and reinforcement on his idea.
But then he decides that he doesn't value Miss Prolificate's opinion that much because he wants to know what Harriet Elizabeth Cow thinks.
Elizabeth?
That's her middle name.
That's a great producer's joke that we just made.
What?
In the film, in the musical, The Producers. I'm not sure about the original.
Is it Adolf Elizabeth Hitler?
Yeah.
Oh. A few episodes ago, King Friday referred to this character as Teacher Cow. So he's pretty proud of himself for now knowing her
full name. Everybody else is just calling her Harriet E. Cow. He thinks, I'm going to learn her middle name and use that. So he calls Miss Prolificate.
Yeah.
Miss Lificate. Ex-Lificate.
Finish your sentence.
Calls up Harriet E. Cow. We get the real kind of picture-in-picture. We cut away, or we don't cut away. We have the schoolroom and them talking side by side on the screen. They talk on the phone. It is conveyed to Harriet E. Cow that the king has something she wants to tell her about.
But she can't come because she's teaching a class, and she doesn't have a teacher's assistant.
She also says, like, as you do, I guess, in conversation, at least if you're the very polite sort of person that inhabits Mr. Rogers' world,
right?
How is everything over there?
And then she stops the conversation to shout over to Prince Tuesday, who's in the class. Everything is fine at your castle.
Yeah.
And then continues.
Everything's fine at your... Which is a weird sort of... It's still kind of weird to me, because the king is calling in an official...
capacity.
Municipal capacity.
Mm-hmm.
But she's conveying information on a very teacher-student-parent sort of level.
Yeah, so the king is summoning her to his castle for an opinion on a drawing contest.
Yeah.
But she refuses on the basis of
she doesn't have a teacher helper.
Supervise these kids. And so King Friday suggests that Mrs. Prolificate could be the teacher's assistant, and they all agree that that's a great idea.
Harriet E. Cow says, "Oh, that's a great idea. You can teach about telephones."
Yeah, just everybody.
It's a real seat of the pants education curriculum in the land of make believe. He's like, "Yeah, sure, telephones, great. Come on in. I didn't have anything planned for today." After the phone call, everything's arranged. We cut to the schoolhouse. The students speculate about what idea the king might have to share with Harriet E. Cow, which she couldn't share over the phone. That was a little weird.
They're uncertain whether it's going to be a good idea or a bad idea, because sometimes adults have fun ideas.
And sometimes they don't.
Sometimes they don't have fun ideas.
Yeah. Well, Ann Platypus says, "I think it'll be something fun because sometimes adults have fun ideas."
And then Daniel Tiger suggests the opposite. Yeah.
Yeah. What she's actually saying by implication is, "I think it will be fun because sometimes it is, and I'm an optimist."
Right.
And Daniel Tiger is saying, "Well, I am not an optimist. I live in a clock," which just goes to show you how anxious I am about things. Mrs. Prolificate shows up at the classroom. Harriet E. Cow jets off. Mrs. Prolificate begins to talk about telephones, but we don't get to learn about telephones. We have to hear about
Which
King
is
Friday's
just as well,
idea.
because she was obviously ad-libbing.
Yeah.
As we
The
crossfade.
neat thing about telephones is you can talk to people on them. And so here's a fade out.
Yeah. King Friday is pacing
Pacing back and forth, saying,
Very
"Oh, what a
impatient.
terrific idea I've had." And it's unclear to me if he is doing this out of ego or out of deep insecurity at the quality of his idea. But what you said earlier about him...
Him what?
Well, the way he said, "Isn't that a great idea? That thing we've been talking about?"
Right.
Makes me wonder if maybe this is insecurity and he's just really trying to reassure himself that this drawing contest of his is a great idea.
If so, Harriet E. Cow was not the person to call upon.
She is some cold water because Harriet E. Cow, right off the bat, I'm not generally a fan of drawing contests.
Yeah, he's like, do you like this idea? And she says, "Not usually."
Yeah.
Not usually do I like this idea.
Yeah, Mr. Rogers planting, or at least Harriet E. Cow planting her flag firmly on the side of ribbons for everybody.
Yeah, she doesn't like the idea.
The great debate that has plagued our generation for eternity.
She doesn't like the idea because everyone is so different, and it's hard to judge something as subjective as art.
So we shouldn't have art contests. I feel like...
But the king says that he's going to
I feel like she's taking the wrong tack on this. I don't know about you. I feel like by not having art contests, nobody draw. I mean, what you should do is just have more contests about more things, and some people will win some of them, and some people will win others of them. You're not going to get rid of sports, so you may as well recognize people who draw are good, too.
Sure.
I don't know. I disagree with Harriet E. Cow's teaching philosophies is what I'm getting at here.
King Friday decides that there should be a surprise prize for the winner. And Harriet E. Cow says that sounds like a very loyal, and then she corrects herself because she either read the script wrong or she's preoccupied with trying to confront the king and still remain loyal.
Right.
She meant to say royal. It's such a royal idea.
Right.
But I guess that take is the one we're using for the show, guys.
Yeah. Also, the drawing competition is to draw the neighborhood.
Of make-believe.
Which is a little propaganda-y.
No, I don't think so. It never said you have to present it in a positive light, although it is being judged by the king himself.
Well, I mean, propaganda is strong, but it is very sort of authentic to, here's the government putting on a drawing contest.
Yes. I was going to say, this is exactly what the government of Canada would do for a drawing contest.
I feel like the government of Canada might go a little more, like, draw what Canada means to you.
Right.
And not just draw the neighborhood.
Right, but we will be taking the most sentimental option and not like Canada means dinosaurs.
I mean,
there were dinosaurs here at some point, and if I firmly believe that, I can draw it on a picture.
I feel like Alberta.
But that doesn't mean that they're going to pick it because it doesn't represent a generic thing that everyone will agree with.
Okay, did you draw dinosaurs in an art contest?
No, but I could have.
Okay.
Now I'm miffed.
I feel like at least the Alberta judges might have swung for dinosaurs.
But that's not how the government judges those art contests.
I mean,
you only get one Alberta vote.
That's just the East-West. Yeah, and like 3 Ontario votes. That's the problem. Yeah. The important thing to realize here is that Alberta's really swinging for those dinosaurs as our secondary source of provincial tourism. Yeah. We're going to make money off those dinosaurs before and after their oil.
Yeah. Cut to the classroom.
Cut back to the classroom.
And Mrs. Prolificate is teaching the kids that you need to apologize when you get someone on the other end who has a wrong number.
Yeah.
And Daniel Tiger's like,
why?
Why are you apologizing if they made the mistake? And then she just lets...
It's a Seinfeld premise if ever I heard one.
Yeah, she just lets the class kind of speculate freely on this.
Yeah. And Prince Tuesday says, well, maybe you're sorry for yourself.
Maybe you're sorry.
You had to get up and answer the phone.
And then Anne Platypus says, maybe you're sorry that it's not the person you wanted to talk to.
So across the board, the class is saying, oh, you're not saying I'm sorry. You're saying, oh, man, I'm sorry that this happened to me.
Yeah, you're not apologizing to the other person.
No, you're just lamenting publicly.
And
I think they're right. I think that's why you say you're sorry.
Well,
when you get a wrong number.
Guess what? Mrs. Prolificate doesn't correct them. She's just like, I never thought about it, but your guesses are as good as anyone's.
And she's the royal telephone operator, so she should know.
Mm-hmm.
Harriet E. Cow shows up again, explains the contest, and that there will be a surprise prize.
Mm-hmm.
And then there is some wondering about what the prize might be. Prince Tuesday, what's his deal? He says, boy, I hope... First, it's a nice bit of continuity. Prince Tuesday says, I hope that the electric car plane is the surprise prize. I'd really like that.
But you already have...
Prince Tuesday, you live at the castle.
Everyone in this town has access to that.
Yeah.
And you already
most
own
of
it
all.
Specifically. The prize has already been stated to be a prize anyone can use.
Yeah.
So
you're probably the only person in this classroom who has had a ride in the electric plane car. Prince Tuesday, you conceded. Maybe he's not thrilled with the way his father is sort of doling out the family resources, and he wants to bring it all back into the fold.
Oh,
She's like, well, if I win that electric plane car, then we'll see who gets to use it. Me, Crown Prince of the Land of Make-Believe.
What are the other guesses? Because I totally zoned out for this.
I don't know if they guessed them, because I don't have anything else written down.
Okay.
And then we cut outside. Handyman Joe Negri is setting up a judging booth, I think.
He's kind of put billboards all over the castle facing outwards, advertising the drawing contest.
Yeah, and he's building some sort of, it looks like a grandstand maybe.
Which, not something most monarchs would do with their castle. Put giant billboards promoting.
Advertising.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe like a pennant like you see in front of a museum.
Right.
Yeah. Speaking of a museum, who should show up but Lady Elaine Fairchild?
That's right. Who we have some weird new information about.
Yeah. Confusing and complicated. So Lady Elaine finds out that there's a drawing contest, and she says, great, I'm going to win it. What's the prize?
Yeah. Handyman Joe Negri wants to slow her down and make her realize that doing it is the fun part and winning's not important.
It's not
so
all
he
winning.
Tries to make her remember when she was a child and maybe didn't win all the time.
Yeah.
Because she does win all the time.
Because she's the best.
It's not a matter of sometimes you don't win.
Yeah.
Lady Elaine always wins. So he asked her, do you have any brothers or sisters? Which we've been speculating on for a while. Prince Tuesday calls her auntie.
Yes.
Is that all we know?
Full stop. But I mean, that should be enough to assume that she is
the sister of either King Friday or Sarah Saturday.
Yeah. But apparently all she has is one sister
named Barbara,
who we have not met. I kind of hope we meet her. My hope for this story is that Barbara sweeps in at the last minute and wins this drawing contest.
That'd be great.
I mean, maybe it's like they're a royal family, so there's sort of a big family, and who's related to who is more important.
Right.
So maybe she's auntie in like the broader sense. Maybe she's like a great aunt. Maybe her sister is King Friday's mother, or maybe they both have the same like grandmother.
Lady Elaine doesn't want to lose.
No. Lady Elaine used to always lose to her sister Barbara.
Until she got older. Then she started winning.
Then she started winning all the time, and she's never looking back.
Yeah, because people like you when you win, and they don't like you when you lose.
Yeah. Handyman Negri asks, who told you that? And she says, I told myself that. Because I'm a winner, and I always win. I feel like she has I feel like all those years growing up and always losing to Barbara has ruined her somewhat as a person.
It's made her too much of a perfectionist.
Yeah, she doesn't. She's committed to always winning now. She's forever in competition with her sister.
It's a real
Gamora and
Amy Pond.
I think Nebula.
Sure.
Yeah.
Situation.
So there you go. Lady Elaine Fairchild's father is Thanos.
Yep.
Yeah.
And her sister is Barbara.
Yep. Lady Elaine also says that she's going to win that prize. She's going to put it in her museum go-round and not show it to anybody.
P.S. What's the prize?
P.S. What's the prize? Yeah. The handyman Joe Negri even says, I don't know, he said it's something that everybody can enjoy. And she says, like, well, not if I win it. It's going in the museum go-round. Nobody's ever going to see it. Weird kind of museum, first of all.
Right. She's got her own private gallery.
Yeah. It's less a museum go-round and more Lady Elaine's private collection go-round. It's also vaguely Martin Shkreli-like. The idea of taking this thing that everybody wants to see and hiding it away so no one can ever see it.
Like Vanta Black.
Yeah?
Vanta Black is the darkest shade of black that
science
has invented. And the copyright has been sold to one artist to use.
Oh, Vanta Black. What are you doing?
So, at least for the time being, only one artist is allowed to use this in artwork. But a close proximity or close facsimile has been put on the market that's like within a percentile of as black.
I think I've heard some of that stuff.
And so that is available for everyone except for the person who has the copyright to the real stuff.
Oh.
Who is forbade from using it.
Meanwhile, Martin Shkreli is that person everybody hates, who won an auction for the Wu-Tang Clan.
Mm-hmm.
Put out an album, and then they said, we're going to auction this off to one person.
Oh.
And the person who won that was Martin Shkreli. And says, well, nobody else is going to hear this. And also, you should pay 1,000% more for these life-saving pharmaceuticals.
Oh.
And also, I'm going to do some white-collar crime, go to jail, and nobody's going to be sorry for me. But what I'm getting at here, I guess, is that Lady Elaine Fairchild is saying she's going to win this prize and hide it away forever in her museum go-round is the least I've liked her so far. Yeah. But at least she's not jacking up pharmaceuticals, so she's still a likable rogue in my book.
The trolley zips by kind of to end the scene, and as it's driving by, Joe Negri says, "Hey, trolley, don't forget to make a drawing," which seems kind of mean. I don't think the trolley has a lot of drawing capacity.
Yeah. I bet he enters, though.
Lady Elaine agrees with, because she shouts, "Don't bother.
I'm going to win."
What kind of a drawing do you think the trolley could make?
That'd be interesting, because he only sees the town from one perspective as he drives past.
Right, and he's also only able to draw a one-dimensional, like he could add layers of color, but he could just have
so you're saying
the
trolley lives on one plane of
he can move forward and he can move backward. He moves through 3 dimensions.
Right.
But if he were to make a drawing with his own, like not commissioning a drawing, but actually making it himself,
right? Yeah.
He would have a crayon off the back, maybe a few crayons, and he could swap the crayons out, but it would have to be arranged linearly.
I wonder. It'd be interesting. I mean, if you can swap the crayons out, I feel like he could.
He could maybe make something like a seismograph.
Yeah. Or he could do like a dot matrix style, where he sort of draws the neighborhood one row at a time.
Yeah, that's true.
On, off, on, off, on, off. I mean, he would need somebody to, move the paper along and swap out colors as need be. And also, I guess, like, apply pressure and take it off when he needs it. But, I don't know. I guess we'll find out.
He can ding his bell
Yeah.
at whim. So you could rig the bell up to be
that's true.
pen pressure.
That's true. I mean, we don't really know what degrees of freedom he has. We also don't know like what the track system is like.
Or
outside of this little
we also don't know whether he has feelings. We've been told he doesn't. We've seen that he does.
That's
so
true.
Can he make art?
I don't know. I would be interested though in his perspective because again, he only sees the town sort of passing through it from this one line.
He just gets something massively wrong.
So yeah,
what a naive machine.
Yeah, well, let's ride this naive machine out of here.
I'm sorry for what I said.
I love you, Trolley, like you was my brother.
Me, I am your brother.
Well, then I don't need to like you was my brother. You are my brother.
Well, here we are back in
Mr. Rogers' house.
Mr. Rogers' house.
Mr. Rogers is gonna enter the contest.
Yeah, he's gonna draw the land of make-believe.
He draws the land of make-believe.
The colors are all wrong.
Yeah,
he either doesn't care or he.
This is more of a study in colors.
It's a very abstract representation.
Yeah, it's abstract. It reminded me a bit of the UPA cartoons, but his drawing is very much about sort of...
It's abstract.
Applying abstract, blocks of color to give sort of the impression and layout of the town. The castle is just a square. The trolley line is just a line at an angle.
Reducing things to their, most primitive form.
Yeah, their most primitive forms. And then different colors than they literally are. In just about every case, at least. He gets a little more representational with the tree.
Yeah.
Which is tree-shaped.
Vaguely, yeah.
I mean, as much as his last tree was tree-shaped.
And then, at some point, before he reaches the Eiffel Tower, he gets distracted by, hey, we could just color in the same place with different colors and mix them together.
Yeah.
And see what you get. I
guess his museum go around is a little representational, too. Because it's a circle with the pillars.
Right, but it's not...
the perspective is completely flat.
It's flat perspective.
Sort of top down. It's an interesting... The mechanics of artistry are maybe lacking, but I think conceptually it has some
I feel like
value as a work.
Mr. Rogers is an appreciator of art, and so he's seen and appreciated enough art to say, here's a type of art that I think I could do as well as anything. So that's what I'm gonna do. Yeah. He's like, this is something that I can grasp.
Yeah, he's thinking like an artist, even if he's not, there isn't much refinement in his techniques and the way he implements his vision.
Yes.
I like this little art criticism we've done here.
Well, I can't wait to do more art criticism as we criticize every member of the neighborhood.
Boy, I hope we get so many of them. I hope we do get the trolley.
Yeah.
We shall see. Because I bet there was some discussion of how everybody draws the neighborhood themselves.
Do you have any more notes here?
No, not really.
Mr. Rogers puts the chair leather on his head.
He likes hats. That's my last note. Mr. Rogers likes hats.
Doesn't wear hats, but he likes them.
He sure likes the idea of them.
He likes improvised hats.
Yeah. He's still pining for the one that got away, Miss Plifkett.
With her...
The lampshade hats.
Doesn't
wear those anymore. She's all grown up. Her only loves the telephone now. And that gingham dress. Well,
thanks for listening. We'll be back next week with episode 1482.
The next one.
It's sure to be spooky.
Ooh, it better be.
You'll want to check out the Tumblr at pleasewon'tyoubemad.tumblr.com.
Yeah, there'll be lots of good stuff.
There will be pictures of all the visuals we've been describing.
Yeah, visuals of all the pictures we've been describing.
There you go.
Maybe some animated GIFs.
Maybe. Our theme song was provided by Dan Brisbane.
Hey, Dan. How you doing? I'm doing all right. I think I just found my pen in here, and Steven's got it all marked up with ink, but that's fine. And our trolley transition music
was made by Rindale.
He's great. Probably.
We'll be back when the week is new.
We'll have more ideas for you.
Andrew, I know you'll have things that you'll want to talk about.
Yeah, probably.
Are they going to be spooky things?
I mean, it depends on the episode.
Are they scary things?
I'll be honest, my commitment to the whole Halloween bit sort of faded after the first go out. I feel the spookiest at the beginning and end of October. Everything in the middle is just Thanksgiving. Canadian Thanksgiving, that is.
It's true.
So yeah, I guess I will have to.
So let's make the most of this beautiful day. Since we're together, we might as well say, would you be mine? Could you be mine? Won't you please? Won't you please? Please, won't you be my neighbor? Won't you please? Won't you please? Please, won't you be my podcast?
Does Daddy have another big idea?
I guess so.
I'll bet it'll be fun. Sometimes grown-ups have fun ideas.
And sometimes they don't.